Hi, my name's John, and today I want to show you the process of putting this guitar back together and putting new strings on it. Now, I'm recording this after I've already done it, so it's together now, so you can see what it'll look like at the end. All right. So, before we get started, there's a few words that you need to know. All right? First one, starting from this end, okay? This is the guitar body. This whole thing. All right? The next word is this right here. This piece is called the bridge. Okay? These, all of these metal bits that make sounds, those are strings. Okay? All right. Moving further down, this part, this whole thing, is called the neck of the guitar. Just like you have a neck up here, the guitar's neck is here. And attached to the neck is what? The head. Okay? So on a guitar it's called the head stock. Head stock. Right? All right, so this part right here is called the headstock. And each of these, right, so this and this, all this together is called a tuner. Tuner. Sometimes called a tuning peg. All right? And without any further ado, we'll get started. So I figured out that there was a problem with this pot here. So it's not grounded. However, I don't have a soldering iron, and so I can't fix that today. But now that I know what the problem is, I can make it so I can play this through an amp in the future. So what I'm going to do is put the pick guard back on, one piece at a time. So I've got my one loose pickup here, which I'm going to leave loose for now. Okay. Seat all of this back in. All right. So now that the pick guard is back on, I can put in all of these screws that I've taken out. Got my screwdriver. Put this one in right here. And I've got all my screws for the pick guard in this nice little magnetic tray. I won't make you watch all this. Okay, So while I was screwing those in, I noticed that these two screws right here on this humbucker bridge pickup were popping up, and I don't actually need for this to be seated right now because I still have to go and fix that potentiometer, but I don't have the tools that I need to fix that right now. Right now I just want something to practice on. So I'm going to leave it the way that it is because it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. So I'm going to put everything back together. So there's a little wooden shim here. Okay. So this little piece goes right here in the neck pocket. So a shim is a very small, thin piece of wood that's put in between two other larger pieces of wood because they weren't cut correctly in the first place. And so to correct your angle, to make sure everything fits together, and to make sure that the angle of the neck is correct, you might need to use that little tiny thin piece of wood in order to get it there. So we'll do that one first. That'll help get it in place for us. So now, because I've only got one screw in, the neck can still move around. So I want to make sure and put my screws in an X pattern. So let's see if I can find the right place for this one using my tester. Can't seem to find. Oh, there we go. All right, that's where it's supposed to be. So now we've got that, and we can just boop, put our second neck bolt in. So it should be lined up now. Looks like it should be okay. So we'll put these other two bolts back in. I've noticed that these two at the top were tougher. I think they were put in at an angle so that it pulled the neck down into the neck pocket. Seems like a good idea. All right. So, let's see. Looks straight to you? Looks good enough to me. All right. Let's continue, shall we? All right. So flipping it back over, I'm going to put the back plate on. This is a little plate that covers up the tremolo springs here. It's my plate. And all my screws are here. Again, I won't make you watch this. Okay, done with that. All right, now comes the fun part. Now we can put the strings on. So I'll open the strings. Just some cheap American guitar strings. Equally cheap way to open it. Right. All right. So guitar strings come in different gauges. And usually the way we refer to gauges is by the high E string, or the smallest one. This is a set of 10 gauge strings. Okay, so in order, guitar strings from largest and thickest and closest to you, the E string, which is your biggest string. So in this case, that's a 46 gauge. E string, A string, D string, G string, B string, and then again, your high E string. So we're going to throw these guys on. From largest to smallest. So our first one, our low E, goes closest to the player. Okay. So here's what it'll look like if I'm playing it. Ooh. Okay. So it's going to need to go up here. Right? So in the back here, these little holes, and I can put the strings inside those. So what I'm going to do is insert the string right through here, and it comes out through the bridge. On the other side, see that? Ooh, that's a noise. So there's one. Okay. Okay. And instead of showing you each and every one, I'll fast forward through it from here on. This video will not be titled How to String Your Electric Guitar. I will not do it. All right, pull these tight. And voila. We are halfway there. Okay. So now I will adjust the camera angle slightly. Forgive my put it towards the interesting place. Okay, so the next part happens, and I'll go again from lowest to highest string. So, different tuning pegs have different methods for this. In my case, I have a very classic style tuning peg, and it's just a notch here instead of a hole. Let's see. Just a notch. So what I'm going to do is measure a little bit further past this. Cut it off. And what I'm going to do is pop it in here. Keep constant tension on the string. Okay. And wind it downwards. Always want these little coils right here moving downwards. Okay. I think we did a good job here. Nice. Very nice. So So now we'll do the same thing with the A string, the second string. Make sure we've got all the tension at the bridge. Measure a couple inches past right here. Cut it off. Stick the string inside the tuner, just like this. Okay. And then we'll start turning the tuning head counterclockwise. So I probably needed a little more extra string than that, but that's okay. We'll make up for it on the next one. All right, so here's our third string, our D string. Technically, according to guitar language, this is actually the fourth string. So in most common guitar terminology, you count the strings starting at the high end, so away from you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I was learning guitar, that always confused me. Or maybe it was just right. So we've got 3 layers of extra string on this tuning head. I'll show you. I'll zoom in a little bit right here. Okay. So here's my tuning head, the headstock of the guitar. I've got 3 extra little layers right here, which is excellent. So I like this angle, so I'll keep this. Okay. All right. Next string is, by guitar lingo, the third string, but it's the fourth string that we've worked on. Okay, so measure a little extra. Cut the string. Okay. Put the end inside the tuning peg, just like this. And let's wind it up. Very pretty. All right. And now for the B string, or the second string. Okay. Same thing. We'll pop it right in here. Put some tension on it and start turning. Back home in the United States, I have a little tool that does this for me. I just put it on here and turn it, and it does all of this work. I don't have to crank all these by finger. But here in Japan, I have no such tool. But I kind of like it. So, funny story about this guitar. So this guitar was given to me by a friend of mine here in Japan. And how he came across it is actually a funny story too. So my friend, he writes raps and also works at a school here in Japan. And he came across this guitar in a dumpster in Japan. What he was doing looking through a dumpster, I don't know. But I'm very glad that he chose to do that, because up until that point, I did not have a guitar at all to play. And as someone who's been playing for many, many years, I missed it a great deal. So it was very, very nice to have that. It's very nice of him to provide it. I was very grateful. I am still very, very grateful to him for doing that. So we're just about finished here. All right, all the strings are on. So I have an application on my cell phone that lets me tune the guitar. We'll try to do it quickly. Okay. All right. All right. First string, or sixth string, fifth string, A string, okay, D, G, good to go, B, E. All right. All right, and we're done. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day.